The dark evil magician Lord Valkasas wants more power to, you guessed it, rule the world and also take vengeance on humanity. Yeah, cool, nice, never heard of this one before. And he aims to get that power by absorbing it from our main protagonist, the Champion of Silver, Lemnear, and her friend, the Champion of Bronze, Meshu. So it's up to Lemnear and Meshu to stop the evil big bad guy and his evil wizard servant Gardain and restore peace and order to the world. Oh, yeah, and did I mention Gardain destroyed Lemnear and Meshu's village and almost got her sold into slavery on her quest for vengeance? My god, one shot of a generic story, another shot of generic characters, and I'll take 2 extra shots of tequila with that because I'm Shakestar and I'm an alcoholic, and this is Little story time. One day back when I was in kindergarten, we were studying math, you know, the 1 plus 1s and the 2 plus 2s, but I was too focused on my epic drawing of Sonic the Hedgehog. My teacher told me it was a nice drawing, but it's time for me to work on math. I said I didn't want to because it was boring and also didn't collect gold rings or do breakdances at an S tier rank. My teacher agreed with me that no, it doesn't, but then she told me something that would stick with me my entire life. Life isn't going to always be what you want to do. A lot of the time, you're going to need to do stuff you don't like so you can finally be able to do the stuff you do like. Things won't always go your way. So I did my math work and sadly gave up on my epic drawing of Sonic the Hedgehog. Fuck you, Miss Anderson. But I've come to the realization that a majority of the anime I review is stuff that I already like or enjoy. I'm still humming the theme from Giant Gorg and it's been like 6 or 8 months since that review. In order for me to be a better critic and reviewer, I think I may have to be miserable for a couple of hours so that I can watch and write a review of an anime that I'm not too crazy about. Out of struggle comes newfound strength. But I'll be damned, the cover of this anime actually tricked me into thinking I was going to enjoy it. Legend of Lemnear, it's an anime I watched, but enjoy is a strong word to describe how I feel about this anime. Okay, don't click off the video just yet. Let me explain. I'd hate to get all 2 Lemnear fans mad at me for not liking their favorite problematic Gooner anime. Like all products and newborn babies, a group of people had to come together to create it, and in the case of The Legend of Lemnear, we have 2 men to thank for its conception: Kenji Yoshimoto and Satoshi Urashihara. This OVA was the duo's first collaboration together. Legend of Lemnear was Yoshimoto's directorial debut, while Urashihara came up with the character designs and is generally considered to be the creator of Legend of Lemnear. The pair met in high school in their anime fan club, or more specifically their Super Dimension Fortress Macross fan club. Both of them had aspirations of working in the anime industry, and soon after graduation, both got jobs in said industry. Urashihara's career began with him animating for the movie Jungle Boy Kenya for Toei. He was promoted to key animator in the 1984 TV animated series Transformers, more than meets the eye, and provided the mechanical designs for its movie incarnation Transformers! After his stint with Toei, Urashihara began freelancing. It was during this time he worked on a Megazone 23 Part 2. Yoshimoto's background between high school and his years in the work industry is a bit harder to get a hold of. However, like his friend, he also was part of the Megazone 23 franchise, although he worked on Part 1. Yoshimoto sadly is no longer with us. He passed away in 2021. Bringing us back to the point, it wasn't until 1989 that the two linked back up to create The Legend of Lemnear. It was their combined love of animation that brought them together. Well, that and their love for drawing yitties. In 1994, 5 years after Legend of Lemnear's release, they'd come together once again to work on another fan service anime, Plastic Little. I think I should clarify my stance on fan service a little bit before I continue. I think it's really whatever. Fan service is inevitable in the world of anime, as annoying as it might be. I'm not going to sit here and try my best to justify it and say that if it's in service of the plot or some tired BS excuse like that. I can definitely overlook it if it's not aggressively terrible or if it's not taking away too much of the story or the anime itself has more to offer. I also just clarify, I'm not so much of a prude that I don't enjoy seeing a booba every here and there every once in a while. All I'm trying to say is that if the yitty is pretty, I'm sold, but not enough to give an anime a pass because of it. And wouldn't you look at that, Legend of Lemnear is 70% fan service and 30% generic story. Animated by AIC, the two men were tasked with coming up with an OVA that has fantasy and action. They both pitched a short pilot animation and got the green light, and well, here we are. Now, if you're wondering, maybe, just maybe, this anime has more substance than Yeti. If I'm going to be honest, what attracted me to watch and review Legend of Lemnear was its cover and overall design. So to start off with this, I liked the character design and animation at points. Satoshi's whole thing is drawing hot girls, and in this case, a hot girl and a hot guy. I admire these two designs, from their silver white hair to their sexily illustrated abs. If these two hit me with the "we noticed you from across the bar," I know I'm not going home that night. I also want to compliment the animation for being able to, or well, try its best to keep up with the Satoshi's larger-than-life character designs. Another thing is the opening song. That hard 80s rock actually had me hyped for the adventure I was about to embark on with Lemnear. Oh my god, I just kind of realized that I am, might get copyright strike from, playing this song. So, just want to tell you guys, I love you. Keep it up. Life's hard. You're doing great. Lemnear as a character has to be one of my favorites in the whole anime because when we get down to it, though her backstory is generic, she as a character is a badass. She's a character who can stand on her own and has great determination, which I like. She doesn't have much depth, unfortunately, but I appreciate what we see of her character as well as her design. I like that this anime is only 1 minute and I like that this anime is only one episode and has a runtime of 45 minutes. The anime never overstays its welcome, which is good because I feel like toward the end it starts to drag. I will say that by the time I started getting frustrated and checking the time, the anime was already over and I started writing this script. So with all that being said, I wasn't a fan of nearly anything else. Meshu, the other half of the duo, doesn't really do much other than being appealing to the eyes. He sort of exists to fill the role of male team member and is just here. He also says his line at the final battle.
You, a mere human, dare to challenge me, Valkisas? You shall die.
I don't care just how mighty you think yourself to be because I know your biggest weakness. It's the eye on your forehead.
Which doesn't make any sense since nothing in the story reveals that that was the bad guy's weakness. Lucky guess, I guess. I'm impressed that this anime found a way to fit 3 villains into a 45-minute OVA. You see this disgusting pervert, he works for Gardain, the wizard. Gardain, the wizard, is Lord Valkisas's left-hand man. And no, I actually mean that literally. He's literally his left hand. Valkisas's backstory is handled as well as a circumcision by a Nintendo speedrunner. Not only does he drop his lore out of nowhere in the last 10 minutes, but it's revealed that he was previously excommunicated by humans because he was, different. I wish the anime had delved into that a bit more, but basically it's just dropped on us and it really left me at most shrugging my shoulders. There's also the issue of the background characters. They only exist to be damsels in distress or to tell our hero where to go. I kid you not, this blind old sage guy was just waiting in a secret dungeon that Lemnear was sent to after she woke up after being kidnapped by Gurdane's underlings.
Dude, what the f***? Why are you f***ing here, man? You're so old. Where's your wife? Go home to your family, dude.
I'm not going to sit here and tell you I'm shocked at the lack of consent in this anime, but what I'm going to say is when you try your best to use sex slavery to sloppily move your plot along, even an attempted, kind of scene, you better have some more substance to it than attempting to stimulate the viewer. Minus the opening theme song, the rest of the music in the OVA is forgettable. Nothing I'll be humming 6 to 8 months later. But truthfully, I think the worst offense of this anime has to be that it hits every single solitary expected beat. It is completely predictable. The hero's town is destroyed by the villains. Their quest to find the protector or person who they grew up with in said village. They're getting trapped by the villain, but by some plot-contrived reason getting out of trouble. They're almost dying, but through the power of believing in themselves, summoning the courage to defeat the villain. I've heard this story before, come on. By the time the final music was playing, I'm already writing down the stuff I didn't like. You could legit credit Legend of Lemnear for influencing the 90s boom of sword and magic anime that defined the decade, but I feel like just because it was the first doesn't mean it's going to hold up as well as the others in its genre like Escaflowne, Slayers, or even Dragon Half. Hell, to name another, Lita, an early fantasy adventure anime, came out 4 years prior, and I found it to be way more entertaining than this one, but I'll get into that another day. Never forget, you might be the person who took your ex's virginity, but trust me, someone later in life is gonna fuck them better than you did. All this to say, The Legend of Lemnear might have sparked the sword and magic genre and fantasy magic anime boom of the 90s or whatever, but so many after its release did it better, it just looks bare bones in comparison. But another issue I have with Legend of Lemnear, unlike something like Fight Ixer 1 or Bao that knows what it is and wants to be, Legend of Lemnear clearly is trying to be something bigger and more than what it is, and it just can't capture that feeling. It's so confined to its 45-minute time limit that the themes, twists, or beats ring hollow and underdeveloped at its own mediocrity, using its fan service as a scapegoat for its existence. And as I mentioned before, that's not enough for me to give an anime a pass. If you watch it, please don't be lazy and just watch the Japanese dub. The Central Park Media English dub has the most campy performances, mainly from our villains, but the rest of the cast leaves more to be desired. I think the worst voice of them all, though, has to be Lemnear herself.
In that case, you'd best get out of town quick. We're under Varol's control. I assume you've heard about his warriors' raids.
I'm here because that's exactly what I've heard.
How is it possible?
You who've let your ambition swallow your powers couldn't understand.
While doing my research, I came across the fact that the Lemnear manga came out after the anime was released. Supposedly, it's better than the anime and even had an English translation released by Central Park Media's manga division in the mid-90s. I never go into watching an anime wanting to hate it. I might have mentioned this before, but I'm a glass half full kind of reviewer. Even with the worst anime, shows, or movies, I try my best to find things I like, which made it really hard for me to conclude that I did not like Legend of Lemnear, and I don't plan on revisiting it anytime soon. Would I recommend Legend of Lemnear? Minus that it has decent enough character design and animation, I really don't think I could. There's far better fantasy, let alone far better anime in general out there, and dare I say far better fan service you could find to watch. So that was Legend of Lemnear, a generic, kind of boring 45-minute OVA with good character design, and decent animation. It's solid 5 out of 10 at most.
Let's go.